Fire is a rapid chemical reaction resulting from the union of the fire triangle, which is fuel, oxygen, and heat. Identify the key components of the fire triangle. There are three elements in the fire triangle, namely fuel, oxygen, and a source of ignition or heat or energy, and that must be present for combustion to occur. The principles of the fire triangle is simply to identify if you remove any of the three principal elements and the fire will eventually die. Suffocation or smothering, the removal of oxygen. Starvation, the removal of fuel. Cooling, the removal of heat. Identify the types of fire and fire extinguishers. Class A, fires which involve solid materials such as wood, paper, cardboard, textiles, furniture, and plastics where there are normally glowing embers during the combustion. Such fires are extinguished by cooling, which is achieved using water. Class B, fires which involve liquids or liquefied solids such as paints, oils, or fats. These can be further subdivided into Class B1, fires which involve liquids that are soluble in water, such as methanol, can be extinguished by carbon dioxide, dry powder, water spray, light water, and vaporizing liquids. Class B2 fire, which involves liquids not soluble in water, such as petrol and oil. These can be extinguished by using foam, carbon dioxide, dry powder, light water, and vaporizing liquid. C fires. Fires which involves gases such as natural methods of extinction gas or liquefied gases such as butane or propane. This can be extinguished using foam or dry powder in conjunction with water to cool any container involved or nearby. Class D fires, which involves metals such as aluminum or magnesium. Special dry powder extinguishers are required to extinguish these fires, which may contain powdered graphite or talc. Class F, fires which involve high temperature cooking oils or fats in large catering establishments or restaurants. Electrical fires, fires involving electrical equipment or circuitry. Extinguishers specifically designed for electrical use like carbon dioxide or dry powder. Outline the main considerations when deciding on the siting of fire extinguisher. Accessibility, visibility, proximity to exits and escape routes, travel distances, support of the equipment off the ground, free from obstruction, protection from the weather, protection from other sources of damage. When operating a fire extinguisher, always remember the acronym PASS. Pull the pin. Aim low at the base of the fire. Squeeze the handle and sweep from side to side. Outline the causes of fire. Deliberate or arson. Electrical faults. Misuse of electrical equipment. Smokers' materials. Smoking in prohibited areas. Loss of control over the firing of rubbish. Oil or gas heating equipment and portable heaters. Unsafe storage of materials. Use of flammable liquids or gases in unsuitable areas. Welding or hot work. Mechanical heat like sparks or friction. Identify the four methods of heat transfer and explain how each can cause the spread of fire. Convection. Hot air becomes less dense and rises, drawing in cold new air to fuel the fire with more oxygen. The heat is transmitted upwards at a sufficient intensity to ignite combustible materials in the path of the very hot products of combustion and flames. Conduction. This is the transmission of heat through a material with sufficient intensity to melt or destroy the material and ignite combustible materials which come into contact. Radiation. Often in a fire, the direct transmission of heat through the emission of heat waves from a surface can be so intense that adjacent materials are heated sufficiently to ignite. Direct burning. This is the effect of combustible materials catching fire through direct contact with flames, which causes fire to spread. Ways of preventing fire: eliminate or reduce the storage of flammable materials, control of ignition sources, control smoking and smoking materials, good housekeeping and preventing accumulation of rubbish, lubrication of machinery to prevent friction, no overloading of electrical systems, regular inspection of electrical systems, ventilation outlets not obstructed, controlling hot work with permits, proper storage of the flammable liquids, segregation of incompatible chemicals, security to prevent arson, and regular inspection and supervision. Outline the various ways in which a fire in work premises may cause harm to persons within the building. In a fire situation, people may be harmed by being burned, by inhaling toxic fumes, by the effects of smoke, by depleted oxygen supply, by falling parts of a building, or by being crushed or suffering some other types of injury in an attempt to escape. List 8 rules to follow that may reduce the risk of fire starting in the workplace. No smoking, BTW for any hot work, good housekeeping or removal of waste daily, control of flammable materials, good electrical maintenance or testing of equipment, no overloading of sockets, regular testing on the electrical distribution system, good storage of any flammable material off the workshop floor, regular workshop tours to spot material buildup, and regular briefing of the workforce on the need to be vigilant. Identify the factors that should be addressed in the fire plan. The action workers should take if they discover a fire, the system for raising the alarm, the system of notifying the fire service, the escape routes and travel distances, the provision of fire exit route sign, the provision of emergency lighting, the provision and sighting of firefighting equipment, the identification of an assembly point and the procedures for taking a roll call, the appointment of and a delegation of specific responsibilities to marshals and wardens, the arrangement for workers with disabilities and for non-workers, the location of service shutdown switches and valves, the arrangement for stopping and isolating machinery and plant in the event of fire, the training required for all workers and that for those with special responsibilities, coordination and cooperation with other employers who might be affected if a fire will occur. The main requirements of a safe means of escape will be, if necessary, 2 routes in opposite direction, fire-resistant walls and ceilings, adequate size relative to the number of persons, within travel distance guideline, clearly marked direction arrows, emergency lighting, exit routes free from obstructions, final exit door opening outwards, fire or smoke doors en route should be self-closing, fixed stairs to upper floors, exit to safe place or assembly point. Outline the benefits of undertaking regular fire drills in the workplace, satisfying a legal requirement or one specified in a fire certificate, to provide instructions to employees on the actions to be taken on emergency situations, checking that the alarm can be heard in all parts of the premises, testing the effectiveness of the evacuation procedures both generally and in relation to a specific requirements such as the need to ensure the safety of disabled employees and visitors. Familiarizing employees, particularly those new to the undertaking, with the alarms, evacuation procedures, escape routes, and assembly points so that in case of real emergency, they would know the actions to take. Providing an opportunity for fire wardens and others with specific functions to practice their designated roles. Outline the factors to consider when carrying out a fire risk assessment of a workplace. The assessment of the probability of fire breaking out and its possible magnitude, the means of detection and raising the alarm, firefighting measures and evacuation, possible ignition sources, the quantities of flammable and combustible materials, the sighting and testing of detectors and call points, the sighting stability of alarms, the means of contacting the emergency services, the sighting, suitability and maintenance of fire extinguishers, sprinkler systems and others, training of personnel in the use of fire extinguisher, the adequacy of emergency signs, the provisions and testing of emergency lighting, the number of people to be evacuated and particular groups at risk, the adequacy of escape routes and staff training in evacuation procedures.